Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. I am creating a really cool card today using these dies. So I bought these dies at the scrapbooking Stamp and Scrapbook Expo a couple weeks ago. And I grabbed those dies and just some scrap papers. So instead of showing me putting it on the plate, running it through the die cutting machine, I'm just going to go ahead and show you when I'm done. So this is new to me. I don't use a lot of dies, and so I was kind of surprised that they were stuck together with these little thin pieces of metal. I'm assuming it's pretty normal, so I just grabbed some scissors and cut them off, and then made sure I threw all of those little pieces away, because I can only imagine that they'll get stuck in the bottom of my foot somewhere. But anyhow, I did do a 2 pieces of paper with every die cut, so I figured if I'm going to cut some, I might as well cut a lot. So I do plan on making other cards with this. I also used this rainbow stitch die from Close to My Heart, because I thought, ooh, I'll do like a little frame thing on the card. I was originally only going to do that bigger one, and then you'll see in a minute that I ended up cutting the entire thing. I just kind of stacked them in between each other, just like when they were in the package. So once I put them in order, I still not really sure what I'm going to do, but I grabbed this card panel. I have a bunch already pre-cut. They're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but since this is going to go on a card base, I wanted a little bit smaller, so I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4, so 1/4 inch off 2 sides. And then I thought, ooh, I'm going to put some stencil on it because that only makes things prettier. So I just grabbed a stencil from my stash. I don't even know who made this or where I got it. I think I may have gotten it at a dollar store, to be honest with you. So I don't know about you, but I have a ton of washi, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I use it as embellishments, and sometimes I use it as a tool, which I'm doing here. So it's kind of funny because my granddaughter has been kind of getting into my stash of washi. And at first I'm like, no, don't touch that, blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of thought, you know what, at least somebody's using it. I love washi. I love the way it looks, but I rarely use it. It's kind of like an afterthought thing. But I do use it for tools like this type of thing. So it does work perfect for holding things down. I also use it on my Cricut mat when I need to hold down paper or vinyl to the mat. But anyhow, I love this stencil. I think it kind of has like a little... I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say like native, but it's just got a really nice kind of southwestern look to it. And the blue I used is very grayish, so it's just really, really pretty. So I used 2 of the cut out rectangles that I cut out earlier. Again, I'm just kind of going through the motions. I am following a sketch from Sketch and Scrap, which they have 2 layouts and 2 card sketches a month. I am part of their design team. I will have a link to my blog, which will have all this information, and also a link to the Sketch and Scrap website. So if you're interested in looking at their sketches, they're so fun. So I really like the way that I finally decided how I was going to put those cactuses on, because it's really like you're just moving things around, not sure what's going what. And so even though I would love to work this fast, this is all on like triple speed or something. I did ink that bottom panel a little bit more because I didn't want it to be just a stark white, but I kept that frame a stark white because I did want to see a little bit of a contrast between the two. So again, I just started, putting stuff down onto the card base. So I do hope you like this video. I do at least 2 videos a week. I post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the second is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. The command center is the name of my craft room and also my blog. And a lot of times it's some kind of paper crafting project, but sometimes it's not. So I hope you decide to join. Hit that subscribe button down below. There's also a notification bell so you can be notified of any new videos. I'm also trying a new editing software this time, or an app I should say, because it is an app on my phone. This one's called CapCut, and so far I really like it. It seems like it has a little bit more than the iMovie I was using before, but it still seems fairly simple, but I guess we'll see. Anyhow, so back to the card. So I just used some liquid adhesive to glue down the pots within the frame before I actually glued the entire frame to the bottom. And then I glued, again using the liquid adhesive, the cactuses inside the pots. Now the sketch that I'm doing has two cardstock pieces, or two pieces on both sides of the card, or of the middle highlighted area. So I just grabbed some scrap blue, which I did grab when I was first picking out different colors for the pots and the plants and things. I decided to make them into tags. I just cut like little tabs. I use my Crocodile to punch a hole because it has like a little bit smaller hole. And then I decided to put a twine through them. So I put adhesive on the back of each tab or tag. I used that mat on the bottom to line up where that tag would be so that it was sort of even. I feel like no matter what I do, it's never really even, but there is excess of that blue, and I just use my scissors and I'll trim it off. So I am usually the worst bow tire, but I got pretty lucky with this one. So I think I did it in my first try actually, but I just did a simple bow. I always tie a knot first, and then I put a little bit of liquid adhesive on the back so it sticks a little clearer. Now there is supposed to be a sentiment on this card as well, and you'll see me later put that on. So like I mentioned, I just cut off the edges, and I'm loving the way this card looks. I hope you agree, and if you do, please like this video. And like I mentioned before, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any. So I decided to use this really dark gray cardstock for the base. This is just your standard 8.5 by 5.5, and then I scored it at the 4 1/4 mark on the 8.5 side, so basically in half, and then folded it over for the card. So before I actually adhered this card topper onto the card base, I decided to do some splatter, which is kind of like my go-to. And this is a silver, and I picked this because of this gray tone of the blue ink that I put on. So I'm just splattering some splashes all around it until I liked it. And then I used that piece of paper to block the plants because I didn't want those to have a lot of splatter on them. And then, like I said, I just adhered it right to the card base, as center as much as possible. I did add a white panel on the inside because it is a pretty dark cardstock, and of course you want people to read your greeting or your sentiment. But isn't that so pretty? So again, it's needed a sentiment in the front. I just decided to handwrite because it was such an afterthought, and I thought it'd be tough to stamp there. I just typed the word, wrote the word hello using this black fine point pen. I didn't think that was going to be a tongue twister, but apparently it was. Now, I did end up putting some enamel dots, and you'll see that at the final project, or at the pictures of the final project. I hope you like this video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.